Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to an evening with your board of directors where you talk, we listen, and we act where necessary. We are streaming live from Western United Credit Union Studio, situated at number 45th Street in Wood. It is part of our DNA at WESCU to always include the Holy Trinity in everything that we do. So let's say now the Synod prayer. We stand before you, Holy Spirit, as we gather in your name, with you alone to guide us. Make yourself at home in our hearts. Teach us the way we must go and how we are to pursue it. We are weak and sinful. Do not let us promote disorder. Do not let ignorance lead us down the wrong path, nor partiality influence our actions. Let us find in you our unity so that we may journey together to eternal life and not stray from the way of truth and what is right. All this we ask of you, who are at work in every place and time, in the communion of the Father and the Son, forever and ever. Amen. In studio, we have with us Ms. Rhea, account executive from Cuna Caribbean Insurance. And we also have with us Mr. Tony Raj,
Sales
associate
Yes.
with Cuna Caribbean Insurance.
Yeah.
So give us a little history of Cuna, when they were formed, and what was the main purpose of Cuna coming or being formed, and how do they service the membership throughout Trinidad and Tobago, especially Western United Credit Union.
Yes. So Cuna Caribbean Insurance is the leading provider of insurance services for credit unions and their members. So we've been around for over 80 years, and we are a part of the Cuna Mutual Group, which is our parent company in Madison, Wisconsin. We are across 12 different Caribbean countries, with Trinidad and Tobago being our main branch, and we do have 2 other branches in Jamaica and St. Lucia. Now, we are stemmed around the credit union movement. So with that being said, our tagline is for all people, because we do believe that every person in every walk of life should have financial security.
Yes.
So all of our products are based around being easily accessible and low-cost solutions.
Yes.
So our suite of products will take you through death, disability, getting a loan. So we try to cover your financial security in all aspects. And that's how we really help the credit unions and their members to make sure that in your time of need, whether it's a death or loan, you are covered financially.
Wonderful. So it's all about financial inclusiveness.
Yes, definitely,
That's what we're
definitely.
talking about. So one of the first things that I wanted to ask you about,
Yes.
Rhea,
Yes.
is the life savings. As we all know, to become a member or part of any organized credit union, financial cooperative, you must have your savings on shares.
Yes.
Now, these shares are insured, well, at WESCU,
Yes.
the shares are insured at no cost to our members
That's
whatsoever.
correct.
So, and it is called the life-saving insurance coverage.
Yes, that's
So
correct.
I just want you to give us a very clear picture of when we talk about the life-saving insurance, what are we really talking about?
Right. Yes. So life savings, of course, from being a part of Western United Credit Union, you have automatic access to this product. As you would have mentioned, it is a part of the package Western United Credit Union, because they love their members so much.
Yes.
This is a free benefit to you. And I also want to mention, before I go into the product, that this is not something you get in the banks. you go in the banks, your savings aren't insured, right? So what this product does is that in the event of any untimely passing or an accidental death or some sort of dismemberment, your savings are actually insured, where depending on the age that you start saving in within the credit union, it can be doubled depending on when you insure, right? So it's really a great benefit for your beneficiaries. So let me give an example. Let's say you are saving in the credit union $10,000. Depending on the time that you start saving, your beneficiary receives 10,000 of your savings plus an additional 10,000, which is insured, right? So there are different levels of the insurance. So, there are some parents that would start their children within the credit union at a young age. So from 0 to 6 months, you will actually receive 25% of your savings in addition, right? Between 6 months through 54 years, you actually get 100% of your savings. So like within the example that I gave, you would receive a double, right? Depending on the
10.
correct, right? 55 through 59 years, you get 75%. 60 through 64 years, you'll receive 50%, and then 65 through 69 years, you'll receive 25%, right? The product actually ceases at age 70, so any savings that you have beyond that age is not covered. But all of your savings that you would have done throughout the years is insured, and this is why we encourage younger persons to start joining the credit union early and start saving, because that's the more you would actually get from the credit union.
So if I'm hearing you clearly, Rhea, what you were saying is that if, depending on the age that I would have joined the organization and I would have started to save. So I save. I am now at my 70. There's no more insurance coverage. So am I interpreting it correctly? But the monies that I would have saved before I reach age 70, it would still be insured. And if anything was to happen to me, my beneficiary would get either double or a certain percentage of what monies I would have saved before I reached.
That is correct.
That is correct.
You could go to the head of the class.
Good.
That is correct.
I also heard you would have mentioned that about disability. So, just in case you may not have
mentioned, right?
But I may have gotten into a terrible accident, and I am no longer able to work. That insurance coverage will kick in, where I can either get double or the 75% at whatever age I'm at, to help me deal with my medical bills or whatever it is as well.
That is correct.
Good.
That is correct.
I read bright.
You're bright. You're bright. And then there's also the AT&D, so that is any accidental death. So if you were to pass away of any accidental death between any age before age 65, your insurance benefit is doubled, right? So in the case where, let's say, since it's prior 65, let's say you passed away before that time, it comes as though you receive 200%, because it's double the amount if it's of an accidental death.
Okay. So that's it for the actual life savings.
The life savings.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Now, of course, credit unions also handle loans.
Yes.
And at our credit union, our loan is insured up to $100,000.
Yeah.
Could you guys give us a little insight as to how this operates, and if it operates the same way in terms of the shares if you die or if you become dismembered and you're unable to work again, what happens then?
Right. So let me tell you guys a little bit about the loan protection before I go into all of the details. So I'm sure we've all heard of the saying, the debt dies with the debtor.
Yes.
And that is exactly what the loan protection does. All right. So what it does is that in the event, as you said, pass away or become totally and permanently disabled, what it will do is it will not pass that cost on to your family.
Yes.
Because, of course, sometimes you would come in for a loan, let's say a mortgage, so that's a house, maybe a vehicle, and you don't want that when you pass away. Let's say you have no sort of insurance. One, you don't want to have to dig into your savings and take that insured amount to cover the loan.
Yes.
And then another thing you don't want is that for the financial institution to cease that asset. Of course, you'd want to leave a legacy for your family.
Yes.
So that's where the loan protection really comes in, right? So it will repay that loan up to $100,000 in coverage. And then, of course, you have your savings there as well. So your family is left with that nest egg, that legacy. So they are given your savings, and then your loan is paid off. So that is really what the loan protection is about. And of course, this is paid by the credit union. So this is something that the members have access to for free at Western United Credit Union. Very important.
Very important to mention that, because at WESCU, we cover the share savings of our membership at no cost to them whatsoever.
That's correct.
And also the loan protection, that is also incurred by the organization as well.
That is correct.
So what I'm hearing here is that the shares is insured at no cost to the member. The loan is covered at no cost to the member. So if the member becomes permanently disabled and can no longer work again, they get twice time their shares.
That is with the savings, yes.
With the savings,
that is correct, yes.
With the loan protection, if the member owes the organization under $100,000, the insurance kicks in and clears that off.
That's correct.
Totally. So you still have double your shares.
That's correct.
Leaving your legacy for your children
That
and your loved
is
ones.
correct.
And you have your loved ones don't have to think about where am I going to get monies, or
To pay
would we
that
have
off.
to use the monies that mommy or daddy would have left
Correct.
for me to take care of clearing
Of
off the
the claim.
loan.
That is
However,
correct.
if the loan then is above the 100,000,
Yes.
the insurance clears the 100,000.
Yes.
And what we will just take a little portion from the shares
Yes.
to clear off the debt, and the rest is left there for the children, for the wife, as a legacy to carry on the generational wealth.
That's correct. And I know you said that you would take a portion of that savings, but I'm sure we'll discuss that a little later on. But now we have the advanced protector that will also cover that as well. So we will talk about that later. Yes.
We come into the advanced protector, man. So what I want to do now is to, I'm wondering if I should jump into Tony and then come back to you.
It's up to you.
How you feeling,
man.
Tony?
I am ready.
Okay, wonderful.
Always ready.
Wonderful. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I would have mentioned before, we have Mr. Tony Raj, and he is the sales associate at Cuna Caribbean Insurance Society Limited. So now we are going to ask Tony some questions. So we have dealt thus far with the savings, the life savings protection, and we have dealt so far with the loan protection. Now what we are going to go into right now is the family indemnity plan, which is so fondly called FIP. So we are going to teach you the full name, the full description, and we are going to also teach you the jargon. So when you come into us, just in case we slip and we say FIP, you would also
know what it is.
You're talking about the family
Yes.
indemnity plan. So, and this is a very, very important plan that we always encourage all our members to ensure that they enroll in this plan when they are joining the organization. So Tony, give me a little insight of when we talk about the family indemnity plan, what we are talking about, the various benefits, and of course the minimum payment that the member has to pay, because it is very affordable.
Very.
Very, very affordable.
Yeah.
And what does it do for an individual once they have the FIP plan as part of their portfolio?
No problem. So let me go back to what Rhea said, my colleague said at the beginning.
Yes.
She spoke about financial security and peace of mind, and that's exactly what the family indemnity plan does, or the FIP.
Yes.
Because a lot of persons, when we say family indemnity plan, they're not sure exactly what does it speak about.
Yes.
So the FIP is the family indemnity plan.
Yes.
So the family indemnity plan is a final rights insurance. It's a funeral benefit plan that prepares you for the inevitable, and it's exactly what it is. The family indemnity plan. It's a funeral benefit plan. So the plan is it's one of our flagship plans.
Yes.
It is,
And it covers you and 5 other family members, which for me is amazing because there's no way other products where you can get a plan that cover you and your family members as well.
Yes.
And the reason why I say that is because of the premiums. Our cheapest, we have actually 7 different coverages, and our cheapest actually start at $52.80, which is $52.80, and that actually covers you and 5 other family members.
So it covers the member,
yes,
and 5 other persons, so and it's not $52.80 per person, but $52.80 for the entire.
Right. So let me just tell you a bit.
You all heard that? $52.80 for 6 persons, and that's the first plan.
Yes.
So let me just tell you a bit of who does it cover. So it covers you, well, the member. It covers a spouse. It covers kids under the age of 26, because after they reach the age of 26, they automatically comes off the plan because they are now considered adults.
Yes.
That way they can take out their own plan and they have their own family as well. So now they can cover their own family.
Yes.
And as also you can cover a pair of parents. So you can cover either your 2 parents or your spouse's 2 parents, or one of your parents and one of your spouse's parents. Once you enroll them before the age of 76.
Right.
Before you go on, let me just ask a question in terms of when the child reaches the age of 26, he or she must at least automatically, they are no longer covered under the parents'
So when they turn the age of 26, they automatically comes off the plan, and the primary insurer is now notified. And when they're now notified, then the kid could actually take out their own plan now, because I'm sure they're already a member of Western United Credit Union.
Yes.
So now they can actually take out their own plan.
Yes. Would there be a waiting period for the child or an adult? Child,
yes.
who is now coming off mommy or daddy's plan,
Right.
and is now transferring onto their own plan? Is it still there's going to be a waiting period of 6 months, or is it just a smooth transfer and it's just continuity?
Okay, so when they actually reach 26, they automatically comes off the plan. So now they no longer have coverage. So now they will have to take out their own plan. It comes like they take out a new plan.
Okay.
So now when they take out that plan, so one thing I need to mention is that we ask for no medicals. And because of that, because we don't ask for any medicals, there's the 6 months waiting period that you're referring to.
Okay.
Within that first 6 months, if there's a death due to natural causes, you would not be able to claim anything. However, within that first 6 months, if there's a death due to accidental death, you'll be fully covered. Once that 6 months period has passed, you'll be completely covered for everything.
For everything.
Yes.
So what I'm hearing is that, and that is whether you're now a child who is an adult and you now have your own plan, you're taking out your own plan, you must wait the 6 months period, just as though a member took out the plan, have their coverage of their family. And I am thinking that the same will go that during the 6 months waiting period, if a member on the plan passes, there will be no coverage.
Of natural causes.
Of natural causes. However, if the person dies by accident during the 6 months period, there will be coverage.
But let me just provide a little loophole there. And this is for the members of Western United.
Yes.
Right? So if you know that your child is coming of age to reach age 26. What you can do before they lose coverage, before age 26, you could actually advise them to transfer, so take out their own plan and transfer from plan A, seeing as they still have coverage because they're not yet to age 26. Transfer from their that current plan to their own plan, so that way they don't have to. They can continue the coverage. That's it.
I love that. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah. So repeat that for us again.
Right.
Please.
So there's a loophole for Western United Credit Union, right? So before the child reach of age, before they reach age 26, as they still have coverage, we do allow transfers. So you can transfer from that one plan and continue your coverage once you do everything within 30 days, right? They are able to transfer onto their own plan, and that waiting period will now be waived.
Right. Okay. I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
We thank you for that, because you see sometimes what the members will usually ask about is the waiting period.
That's correct.
And
Yes.
seeing that a child is on the plan for all these years,
Yeah.
I have now reached 26 and I'm coming off. Oh my God, it's kind of challenging to know that you have to wait a further
That's
6
correct.
months. I like that. So
Exactly.
before you reach the age, you can take out your own plan and just transfer, and you
Yes.
don't have that waiting period.
Yes.
Correct.
Because oftentimes I know the parents, they tend to forget, you have it for so much years, you forget the child is becoming of age. So, sometimes it's really to think about that little caveat, so you can enjoy the benefits,
Yes. But I'm really appreciative of that.
Yes.
Little piece of nugget.
Yes.
So Tony, you can go ahead with the FIP plan and tell us what the different benefits are as having. I know the first benefit of having an FIP plan, and it is one that is in your hands. It's that it eliminates the stress factor of wondering, where am I going to get funds to take care of the turnout of a loved one?
Exactly, and that's exactly what the family indemnity plan does. It removes the stress in the event of a death, because that is inevitable. It's something that we don't like to talk about, and that is why the family indemnity plan was created, to remove that stress from persons, so that they don't feel scared that they leave their kids or family members or whatever will happen after the event of the inevitable. So that is exactly what the family indemnity plan does. And it's very simple. All you have to do to get the plan is just visit Western United Credit Union.
Literally. And they will help you.
And all you have to say is
Premier Credit Union.
Yes.
all you have to say is, I would like the FIP plan or the family indemnity plan.
Yes.
And that's it. It's quite simple.
Very
and
easy.
Claims is very quick and it's very easy.
I understand it's within 48 hours.
Exactly.
And sometimes my experience at the credit union is that once the member comes in with the death certificate, form of ID of the person who would have passed, or maybe their form of ID as well, and they fill out the claim form, you fax it across to Cuna, you all do your due diligence.
Yes.
My experience is that sometimes, or most times, when after faxing the information across to Cuna, even though it says that we would get the approval within 48 hours, sometimes we get it within a few hours, and that is so good.
That is correct.
That is a further ease on the member, that you don't have to worry about, oh my God, how long this thing is going to take. Is it really going to take 48 hours? Is it going to take a whole week?
Exactly.
Yes.
And it removes the stress of having to even plan everything out, because it's already there, the fund is already there. All you have to do is just submit your claim, and that's it.
And you get the monies to take care of and everything. To send your loved one off in dignity.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So another thing that I want to ask, another question that I want to ask in terms of the family indemnity plan, and before we move on to another plan that is especially WESCU, we just
Yes.
got on board with that
Excited
plan.
about that
Yes.
one.
I want us to just list all the plans. We have a family indemnity plan. What are the monthly obligations to the
Right.
member, and of course the benefits, the coverage.
Okay.
But before we go on to that, the question that I want to ask, and maybe you can either answer it after or before. We know that we have a lot of people suffering with a lot of mental illness, and unfortunately, we may have covered a family member who may have committed suicide. How do we handle that in terms of, does the plan make allowances for a family member that may have been covered committing suicide, or even the primary insurer, the member, the main insurer themselves?
Yes.
Do we make allowances for persons who may have committed suicide?
So let me take that question and then I'll pass you on to Tony,
Sure,
right?
no problem.
So what happens is actually once you've had the family indemnity plan for a consecutive of 2 years, your premiums are up to date,
Yes.
then we will actually pay out for suicide. Anything before that, however, if let's say you only have the plan for about 6 months,
Yes.
and the person would have passed from suicide, will not be covered.
Yes.
But once you've had the plan for a consecutive of 2 years, we will pay out the claim.
Okay,
Right.
great.
And one more thing I would like to add to that as well. Also, persons that have kids that suffer from have a disability, if you enroll them before the age of 26, they stay on the plan for life.
For life.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there's no, I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Please repeat that for me.
Yes.
please.
So
Yes.
yes,
That is very important.
Excellent.
it is.
Yeah.
So if you have a kid that is disabled and you want to cover them, once they're enrolled before the age of 26, they don't come off the plan. They actually stay on the plan for the life of the
For
plan.
life. Wonderful.
Just make sure that you have that documentation
Yes.
stating that, they are permanently disabled.
Disabled.
And yeah, they're good to go.
When you are filling out or submitting your FIP
You can submit
form,
that along
you
with
submit
it.
Submit
that.
that as well.
Yes.
Wonderful. Good. So we just want to go, before we move to that beautiful plan that we just got on board with, I would
Yes.
just like you to go through the different plans, the FIP plans, the coverage, and the monthly premium first, please.
No problem. So as I said earlier, we have 7 different plans. We have the plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, plan F, and plan G.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So we have a lot of plans.
We have plans, yes.
We have 7 of them. And actually, the lowest actually starts at $10,000 coverage. It's a $10,000 coverage, and it
Yes.
actually goes all the way up to $100,000,
Yes.
which is plan G. The rest is like in between, from a 10 to 100 as well. As we spoke about it earlier, our premium for the $10,000 coverage is actually $52.80.
And let me
Yeah.
remind you, it is $52.80 for
Everyone.
It doesn't
not
multiply.
person.
Yes.
Yes.
It doesn't multiply by the amount of persons on the plan. And the benefit, it's an individual benefit, meaning it doesn't divide by the amount of persons on the plan. Each person is covered for that
For the
individual
10,000.
amount. So $10,000 coverage.
On whatever
Yes.
plan. So let's
Yes.
take, for instance, we have Plan D, and Plan D is a monthly premium of $158.40
Correct.
with an individual benefit of $30,000. So each person on that plan will be covered by $30,000
That's
with
correct.
one monthly payment
Premium.
for everyone
For
of
everyone.
$158.40.
Yes.
Can't get it better than that.
Cannot.
way.
It cannot.
So one thing popped up in my mind while you were speaking, Tony, is well, actually, like having a senior moment.
Oh gosh. It happens.
We all have that.
So, yeah, well, we will move on to the plan that we were so excited to talk about, and then it may come back in my mind, and we would be able to talk about it.
Yes.
So we at WESCU, we have just got on board with the family critical illness plan.
Yes, you get it, man.
Yes. And when Rhea spoke to me and told me about the benefits of this plan, it was a no-brainer.
Yes, yes.
So, Tony, I will just appreciate if you would just give our viewing audience, our members, and then to our potential members, an idea of what this plan is about, what is the coverage, and what are the different illnesses that it will cover.
No problem. So, first of all, illnesses does not discriminate.
Yes.
Let's start there.
Yeah.
Sicknesses does not discriminate at all. And
Yeah.
more and more every day, we're seeing a lot of young persons succumbing to things like heart attack, stroke, and other different critical illnesses as well.
Yeah.
And in fact, cancer and coronary heart disease are two of the leading causes of death in Trinidad at the moment, which is crazy. And to be honest, not many of us, well, not many persons right now in the country, because of a lot of external factors, cannot say if they are diagnosed with a critical illness today that they can dip into their pockets and confidently pay for that.
Oh yeah, I definitely can't. I will be honest there.
But guess what? As and we went to order some food. So we ordered the food and we were meant to collect it. So
Yes.
this is a joke now. And the couldn't see too well, so they asked the lady to read it, and she said, because I said, okay, but I'm not seeing too well, could you, because I don't have my glasses. So she said, well, me was.
Oh gosh.
Me was, I can't pay for that out of my pocket unless I have such a coverage.
Correct.
And well, what the Family Critical Illness Plan does is remove you from that situation.
Yes.
Because it's a living benefit plan that covers you for 6 different illnesses that we cover you for. And the illnesses that we cover you for are cancer, stroke, heart attack, paralysis, comas, and major burns, which I find is excellent.
Yes, it is.
Because I've seen friends that is in their 20s being diagnosed with cancer at such an early age, and they've been having to do things like have barbecues, do a GoFundMe just to raise funds for these things. And that is exactly what the Family Critical Illness Plan does. It pays for those exorbitant debts and allows you to live freely and heal during that period.
Yeah.
So once you have this coverage, you no longer have to do any GoFundMe or barbecues or anything like that.
Correct. You have that fund.
And even doing those things, exactly. And even doing those things actually creates more stress.
Yes, it does.
And it actually prolongs the healing period.
Yeah.
So that is exactly why we created the Family Critical Illness Plan. I spoke about the different illnesses that we cover, and let me just talk about the premiums. You think that the premiums for the FIP plan is low?
Oh gosh.
So this is even more affordable to our members and even to our potential members who have joined us.
Especially the younger ones.
Oh gosh, yes.
Especially the younger ones. So let's say you want so our coverage actually starts at 50,000 and goes all the way up to 300,000 coverage.
Yeah.
And let's say you're less than 35 years, and because our premiums are age banded, unlike the family indemnity plan, it goes according to your age.
Yeah.
So let's say you're less than 35 years and you'd like to be covered for $100,000 coverage.
Yeah.
Your premium is just $73 for the month.
For $100,000.
$100,000. Wow.
Coverage.
And then 50,000. Guess the price. Guess it. 50,000. Give me a little guess.
100,000 is that? About $30-something.
Oh God, you're right, you know. It's only $36.50.
Wow,
only $36.50.
That is real affordable.
Listen,
really affordable.
if you compare that to buying a box of KFC every day, come on, man.
And we all know that KFC just raised their price.
Exactly.
Okay. And sometimes people, it's just about making the necessary sacrifice, because sometimes we think, oh my God, I can't afford that, or I don't have the money.
Yeah.
But it's just about looking at your spending plan
Mm-hmm.
and looking at where am I bad spending,
Correct.
or what can I cut out to afford this reasonable coverage
That's
of the
correct.
family indemnity plan, the FIP, or the family critical illness plan.
That's
And
correct.
that in itself makes it affordable because you know you're doing some reshuffling of your finances to ensure that you prioritize and get the coverage that you need.
That's correct.
Exactly. And there's because the plan is designed. Okay, so let me just tell you who is eligible for the plan. So it's just like the family indemnity plan. Well, not just like the family indemnity plan, it's a group benefit plan like the family indemnity plan. So it covers you, a spouse, kids under the age of 26 again, and a pair of parents. However, parents have to enroll before the age of 60. So once you enroll before the age of 60, the plan goes straight until 75 because it's a living benefit. So it covers you. And why I said it's a living benefit, because this is the best part of the plan for me. If you live until the age of 75 and you haven't made a claim or you haven't been diagnosed with any critical illness that is on the plan, you will receive 50% of your premiums back.
Hey, well, sign me up one time, please.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
It is a win-win.
And listen to me, at WESCU, we always look for a win-win situation
Yes.
for our members.
Correct.
All the time. It
Yes.
must be a win-win situation.
Yes.
But I love that.
Yes.
I really, really do. So if you reach the age and you have never made a claim, you get back a certain percentage of what
Correct.
you
Of
would
your
have
premiums.
contributed
Correct.
towards the plan. over that
Correct.
period. Okay.
And there's another one. So if you have a kid on the plan and you enroll them, once they age out of the plan, the same situation applies.
Yes.
So once they reach the age of 26,
Yes.
they also get 50% of their premiums back.
Wonderful. I'm loving this.
It's nicer.
It's lovely. So let's do a comparison.
Right.
And the comparison is to the FIP. And we would have said that if child is approaching the age of 26,
Right.
but the parents now they can take out their own family critical
That
illness
is correct.
coverage, and instead of having to wait, is there any waiting period like the 6 months waiting period like the FIP plan?
Yes, there
Yes,
is.
there is.
So there is. It's
that-
very similar.
Does the same sweetening happens on this by I take it out at 25 before I reach 26 and I can easily
You know the
transfer.
trick. Yes. You know the trick.
Good. I love that. I
Yes.
love that.
Yes.
So we inside there.
We inside.
In another thing that I'm looking at again is in terms of a parent or a member taking out the critical illness and having a disabled child on. That child is also on for life as well.
Correct.
Well, up until 75 as this
Well,
one.
up until
Because it's a
Yes.
living benefit.
Yes, a
Yes.
living benefit up until
Yes.
75 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And then let me add one more little sprinkle on top of
Yes.
the cupcake, right? One more.
Yes.
So, you would have mentioned the very cheap, affordable
Yes.
premiums, right?
Yes.
So let's say you came in at, let's say 26, right? Or 25, because I show already trick, right? So you come in at 25.
Yes.
That premium, that initial premium that you come in at, so let's say you initially started at the 50,000 for $36.50, and you feel like that 50,000 is good for me, and you continue that plan, you will continue paying that $36.50 until you reach age 75, because that premium is level. So no matter if you increase as you increase, that premium will not increase, because usually critical illness plans, it usually would increase as you age, but with this plan it is a level premium. So imagine you reach all 60 and your premium for your critical illness is $36.50. You can't go wrong.
No, you really
You can't go
You
wrong.
cannot go wrong.
You can't go wrong.
And I am so happy that you mentioned that, because
Yes.
you brought back the
The senior moment.
so good. But before we come back to that,
Yes.
I would just like to go to a commercial break,
Yes.
and maybe we can feature the FIP and the critical
Maybe,
illness. You
maybe.
don't know what the producer has in store for us.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for your time, and we now go to a commercial break.
The Family Indemnity Plan provides the comfort of knowing your family will be cared for, so you can enjoy mom's macaroni pie or dad's special barbecue sauce. An insurance plan that gives you peace of mind, covering you and 5 of your loved ones for only 1 monthly premium. The Family Indemnity Plan allows you to choose the right plan for your family. Contact your credit union today.
So, just before going to break, we had a question, and this question is an incredible question.
Yes, it's a good one.
It is good. Take A plus and move to the heavenly class, Mr. Marvin.
Yes.
So the question is, and I'm going to read it out. The question is, if the couple lives common law and are not married, how does FIP deals with this situation? Any one of you, take it away.
So I can take it. So it's a question that we get frequently. So yes, we do cover common law spouses. All you have to do is just provide an affidavit proving that you're a common law spouse, and you'll be covered just like that.
That's
Simple.
it?
That's
Simple.
it. Simple.
Okay.
Simple, simple, simple.
So all you have to do is write an affidavit,
Yeah.
bring that proof, join enroll,
That's it.
and that's it.
That's it. And then there's also a certificate now that you can get in legal affairs stating that you're in a common law relationship with someone. But I always say, if you have to go through all of that, better you just go and go and get married.
I agree
So
with that.
the easier thing is the affidavit, but that is still an option.
An option
Yes.
as well. And of course, with both on the critical illness and the FIP, if I am let us say, for instance, because we know we cannot cover brother and sister
That's correct.
and cousin.
Yeah.
But if I have been taking care of my brother or my sister for their entire life, mommy died, daddy died, or they're just not around, and I have been taking care of my brother or my sisters for their entire life, and I want to put them on the plan. Is there any way I can do that as a guardian?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
You want
you
to
can.
take it? All
Once
right.
you have documentation proving that you're their legal guardian and that you've been taking care of them, once you provide a document, they will be covered.
They will be covered, and I think that is important
Yes.
for our members to know and our potential members to know,
That's
because
correct.
a lot of times we take care of our brothers and sisters as an elder
Exactly.
That's correct.
person in the
Person.
household,
Yes.
and it may be a bit challenging or discouraging to hear that, I've been taking care of Tony all my life,
Yeah.
and now that there's such a great plan that I can have him covered,
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Can't,
So
yeah.
that is
But you
good.
can, once you have that documentation that
documentation.
proves that, you will be covered.
Good. So I want to jump back. So we dealt with the FIP,
Right.
we dealt with the family critical illness plan.
Yes.
2 wonderful plans, and those are
Yes.
2 plans that we encourage all our members to ensure that they have that coverage.
Yeah.
And then I want to jump back to Rhea
Yes.
to deal with the payment protector and the advanced protector, and then we
Right.
will come back to Tony
Okay.
to deal with the critical illness rider.
Yes.
We will cover that, and then we will go to Ms. Maxine King, who will deal with our investment portfolio within
Right.
the organization. And of course, we have both of you in studio still. We
Yes.
will open up the lines for some
Questions,
questions,
yes.
No
so that
problem.
we will field some questions from our membership.
That's great.
So, Rhea,
Yes.
payment protector,
Payment
and advanced
protector.
protector.
Which one you want me to go
Payment
first?
protector.
Payment protector.
Yes.
All right. So, of course, as we would have mentioned, the credit union offers loans within the credit union. And while you have that loan protection coverage, you have coverage on your savings. We also protect your loan installment. So,
Wonderful.
what do I mean by that?
Yeah.
So, let's say you have a loan within the credit union, and you must have a loan in order to have access to the payment protector plan. And what it does is that if you become temporarily disabled or temporarily ill, and you have a loan, what this product will do is actually pay your loan installment, or let's say your total monthly contributions within the credit union, up to a maximum of 2 years until you get better. So, for
So
example,
when you say my total monthly obligation,
right.
so we can cover just the loan installment alone.
Yes, you can do that.
Or my total monthly obligation may include my shares,
Yes.
my deposits,
Yes.
I'm just going to throw this one in for good measure, I don't know,
FIP.
my family
Yes.
critical illness plan
Yes.
and my family indemnity
T plan. That's correct.
So those are my monthly obligation
Yes.
inclusive of my loan.
Yes,
So
that's
you're
correct.
saying I can get all of that covered and paid on a monthly basis until I get better and I can
Yes.
and return to the workplace.
That is correct. That is
Wonderful.
correct. Right? So all of your monthly contributions, you add that total. So your loan installment, your FIP payment, let's say you're on a plan A, the 5280,
Yes.
you have an FCIP for 3650, and then let's say you're paying 200 or 500 on your
Yes.
shares, you add that total. And
And if I may just stick a pin before
yes.
The senior moment takes me away.
Oh gosh.
One of the questions that I wanted to ask,
Yes.
because sometimes, in talking with a member, you may hear a member, but oh my God, I can't afford that, because they would look at, we have all these FIP plans,
Yeah.
and automatically they would gravitate to the most expensive.
Oh gosh, yes.
And they may
Yes.
say, well, oh, I can't afford that,
Yeah.
But what we advise them, of course, you can start as small as you can. The smallest one
Exactly.
is Plan A,
Yes.
monthly premium of $52.80.
Yes.
And the benefit is a coverage of $10,000.
Yes.
So while we are doing that, and then your finances get better to improve,
Yes,
we can then increase.
always increase. So after the first 6 months, we can increase.
Yeah.
So once after that first 6 months you increase, then once everything is good and your financials are okay, and you can increase again after the year passes, after you increase the first time, you can increase again. So after that, you could always increase every year.
Increase. Is there a waiting period within the increase?
Okay, so there is a waiting period within the increase. No, sorry, there's a waiting period only if you increase. No, sorry, my bad.
Yes.
So there's no increase in the waiting period.
Okay. Same 6 months.
Yes, so there's no 6 months waiting period when you increase the plan. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Yes. So if you increase from plan A to plan B, there's no a 6 months waiting period only for the plan B.
For the higher
For the
amount.
higher
for the higher
amount.
Yes.
But
So if something
happens
happens within the first 6 months,
You get
you
the
will be
lower
covered
amount.
for the
Plan A.
old
That's
plan
correct.
A.
Okay.
Correct. Sorry, I had a senior moment.
Sorry for my spirit rubbing
Yes,
off on you.
oh
It's
God.
fine.
It happens. It happens. So, just for clarity, if I have Plan B and I increase to Plan C,
Yes.
Correct.
so Plan B is a coverage of monthly premium of $70.20 with
That's
a coverage of $15,000.
Yes.
So I'm now going to increase to Plan C. So Plan C is a monthly premium of $105.60 with a coverage of $20,000. So my financial position has just gotten better. So I can now move from Plan B to C.
Yes.
However, there's a 6 months waiting period. If one of my family members passes and I have to take care of their turnout to send them away with dignity, and I am waiting on this maturity time with the 6 months waiting period, I will not get the coverage under Plan C, but I will get the coverage for Plan B.
Correct.
Wonderful. So I don't lose out on
So you
anything
don't
at
lose.
all.
And then that's also based on how you die as well. So similar to a new plan, if it's of natural causes, you will get the lower amount. And if it's of an accidental, you actually get the higher amount. So if it's an accidental,
you
get the higher amount, even if you pass the 6 months. I am here for the sprinkles.
Very good. Very good. I love that. I love that. Okay, good. So back to you, Tony. I think we were talking.
Rhea.
Yes. Payment protector.
Yes. So with regards to the payment protector, yes. So we were speaking about the fact that if you become temporarily ill, it will pay your monthly contributions within the credit union. So if you have a loan, your family indemnity plan, after you see this lovely webinar, the FCIP, let's say you have your shares, your savings, you add that total monthly contribution, and that can all be covered under the payment protector. Of course, you must have a loan in order to get the payment protector plan. And the ages is minimum age being 18, and it goes up to 65 years of age. And then what it does is that it would pay up to 2 years of your loan installment for the same illness. So let's say, for instance, you are on the payment protector plan, you are ill. Within 6 months, you get better, you go back out to work. Of course, the plan will stop paying because you're now better. And then let's say you get ill again from something else, you can then come back and continue that coverage as well. Right? So how the plan works is that the term is 1 month. So of course, after every 1 month of paying, you would just have to just get some sort of statement from your medical practitioner stating that you are still ill, so that we will know to continue paying, and then it will continue thereafter.
Okay, excellent. And of course, at WESCU, that is a plan that we also have and cover all our members' loans. Because it eases the stress of your recovery, that you are maybe in hospital or you are home recovering. And those persons who are very committed to their debt, they don't have to worry about, oh my God, my account has gone into delinquency. And how am I going to now catch up when I get better? And it also, for those of you who may know about the credit score or your TransUnion report, it reflects good. So it means that you would not have a bad credit rating because you would have made the necessary sacrifices to take out the payment protector. And all our loans, by the way, are covered by payment protector because we want to ensure that the members have that ease of, if I become ill, unable to work, that my loan or my other monthly obligations are covered.
That's correct.
So we can go into the advanced protector.
Yes, we can. All right. So the advanced protector, it is a fairly new product as well, similar to the FCIP. It's a fairly new product. And you all have had it for about a year or so, right? And what it does, it's pretty similar to the loan protection insurance, where it is a credit life insurance. So it goes still with that notion, the debt dies with the debtor. So as I would have said earlier, the loan protection under Western United would cover you up to $100,000. So let's say you have a mortgage within the credit union. Of course, most likely it will go above that 100,000. And what this plan does, it will kick in and it will cover the excess. So anything in excess of that 100,000 can now fall under the Advanced Protector. So members with loans above that now have access to this, where if you become totally and permanently disabled or you pass away, you now have this benefit where that debt does not go onto your family. It doesn't touch your savings at all. It is totally covered by the Advanced Protector. Earlier, that's correct. So you don't have to touch that savings or that LS benefit at all.
Yes.
Once you have access to this Advanced Protector, that will cover the excess. And then also with this plan, there is also a credit disability rider attached to it that you can add on if you so choose.
Yes.
And it is very similar to the Payment Protector, where once you are temporarily ill or temporarily disabled, it will pay your loan installment. Now, this one is particularly for the Advanced Protector. So that loan that is insured by the Advanced Protector, it will pay that loan installment, whereas the Payment Protector pays your total monthly contributions. So that is the difference there.
The Advanced Protector is just the loan installment.
That's correct. The loan under the Advanced Protector.
Yes.
What is really nice about this product that it covers up to $1 million in coverage. So of course it allows very large loans to be covered, and that debt does not pass on to your family members. The minimum age, of course, is 18 years of age, and the debt aspect of it goes on until age 75. So unlike the LP that stops at age 70, this one goes on to age 75. So it now allows older persons to also get coverage that doesn't have coverage on the LP. So you don't have to have a large loan, but let's say you reach age 71, 72, and you're no longer covered on the LP. You can come on this, and your loan can be covered if something happens to you, whether if you pass away.
Yes.
Right? Then under this plan as well.
Under the LP.
Yes.
And what we are talking about here, folks, remember we said that we are teaching you the jargon.
Yes.
So that you will be aware, and maybe you can have a good conversation when we come in and maybe surprise us. So when we hear you say, well, what about the LP?
Yes. You know what I'm referring.
Exactly. So we're talking about the loan protection.
That's correct.
And now we are saying that the Advanced Protector ensures that it is covered over the $100,000.
Yes, so the Advanced Protector covers anything in excess.
Or we can just cover it in its entirety.
Yeah, so you can cover it in its entirety, especially if you cross that maximum age for the LP. So the maximum age for the LP is up to 70. And then under the Advanced Protector, it's up to 75.
Right.
So it will cover persons above the age 70 for death.
Yes.
Right? So if it is you pass away, your debt is still insured, right? So that isn't that risk there. And then it always also allows older persons to take out, loans as well and know that they are covered. They don't have to touch their savings. It is covered under the Advanced Protector.
Yeah. Because sometimes, our members we have members who are good peers.
Yes.
And they may have retired. And one of the things at WESCU that we are very passionate about is that we are structuring our loans so that when persons retire, their loans retire with them.
Exactly.
So when you go in now to enjoy your winter experience, you don't have to study about a loan.
Exactly.
You still have your savings, and your savings is of course part of your creation of your generational wealth that you will leave as a legacy, a heritage to your children and for your loved ones to continue the savings.
Yes.
However, something may come up, and you will need a loan at over 70 or whatever have you. So this gives the protection that a member over 70 can take a loan.
Yes.
Or over 60, because the LP is up to.
So the 65? LP is up to 70.
70.
Yes.
So after that, we can still see that our members can be covered by taking the Advanced Protector to cover that loan, and they don't have to worry, oh my God, if something should happen, all these monies that I've worked with for over the years will be just taken and
Taken for the
wiped
loan.
off the loan.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Wonderful. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I really do. So I'm seeing my beautiful friend Miss Maxine King waiting so patiently. And now we are going to switch there. We are going to come back to Tony and Rhea, uh, so that we can continue our discussion with Cuna. But now I just want us to switch for a while so that we can invite Ms. Maxine King on the floor. So that Ms. Maxine King, she is our head wealth manager from FirstLine Securities. And one thing I love about Maxine, besides being such a beautiful human being, is her commitment towards her work and WESCU. Because I don't know if it's every time, but I'm just going to take the risk. Every time I call upon Maxine to be part of an evening with your board of directors, Maxine is always out of the country. And it is never a problem for her to join us wherever she is in the world so that she can give the contribution. And Maxine, a special love to you. Thank you so very much for joining us. And Maxine is now going to talk about our investment portfolio at Western United Credit Union. Maxine, the floor is yours. And thank you, my dear friend, for being here for us this evening.
Pleasant good evening to the board and executive members of Western United Credit Union, to the committee members, to your general membership, to your guests, and any other attendees that you have in your presence today. Pleasant good evening, and it's always a pleasure for me to be here and to share in the information that is provided by Cuna, and to share the information that I want to disseminate to you and your members. Mark, and thank you so much for inviting me yet again to represent FirstLine Securities Limited. This evening, I know I just have a brief time to speak, but this evening I wanted to focus a little bit differently as it relates to the funds that we manage, the surplus funds that we manage for WESCU, and to give people an idea as to the core principles that we use when we are managing the funds. Primarily, FirstLine uses what we call the prudent person approach to managing the funds for all of our investors, and that includes WESCU, where we have to take cognizance of the risk profile of the credit union and ensure that whatever we place as assets in your portfolio takes recognition of the fact that you are a credit union, that you are going to be, that you have a conservative approach to risk-taking and to investing, that you are there to protect, and we are here to protect the interests of your members, and this must rule through, this must be seen in how we manage your funds. So we use that general principle of the prudent person's approach. Having said that, I just want to also focus on a few of the core principles, other factors that we take into consideration when we are managing your portfolio. First and foremost, it is preservation of capital. Preservation of capital, and I'm repeating it for emphasis, preservation of capital. So when we're managing the surplus funds for WESCU, we are doing that within the context of ensuring that we are not reckless or speculative in how we invest your funds, and that our primary objective is that you do not lose on the investments that we have placed within your portfolio. Now,
Yes.
having said that, it doesn't mean that investments are not exposed to risk. And what we do to mitigate risks is that so let me go on to the second factor that we take into consideration. The portfolio is managed with in a diversified way, which means that we don't have all the assets looking the same. So we would have assets in various sectors. We would have different types of assets. So we may have fixed income instruments, commonly known as notes or bonds. We would also have equities in the portfolio, also known as shares or stocks, right? But because WESCU is a conservative type, you would find that the portfolio is slanted more towards the fixed income type instruments, where the risk exposure is much less than, let's say, the equity side. So currently, WESCU's portfolio is in the proportion of 71% fixed income instruments and 29% equities. Now, what I mean by fixed income is that we know with certainty what is the interest rate on these instruments. We know when they will mature. We know the structures of the interest payments, right? We know all of those things, and that's why the interest rates are fixed. And even though some of them may be floating interest rates that are pegged to, let's say, the prime lending rate, the current, whatever is the current rate is fixed. And so we know that with certainty. And so WESCU's portfolio has much more of that type of asset in its portfolio than, let's say, equities. Another factor that we would look at is that of the risk-reward relationship. The management of the funds is being done to generate income, of course, right? But it doesn't mean that we get reckless with how we manage the funds and place in the portfolio assets that may have very high interest rates, yes, or returns, but may also bring along with them certain kinds of risks. So we manage the risk-reward relationship within the context of the fact that WESCU is a credit union. Its core business is loans, it's not investments, and therefore we have to bear that in mind and maintain a conservative stance when we are managing the portfolio. We also mitigate risks. And how do we mitigate risks? One of the ways is the diversification that I just talked about there, where we're dealing with different sectors, exposures to different sectors, different time horizons, different issuers. But we also have the use of foreign currency, and WESCU earns some foreign currency, some US dollars. And so we manage that to the best of our ability as well. And that can act as a good hedge, especially if, for instance, there's a devaluation. It would, of course, up the dollar value of the portfolio that we are managing for WESCU. Another factor another tactic that we use when we're managing the funds of WESCU is that we, from time to time, would reallocate or rebalance the portfolio to make sure that it maintains that 70-30 rule. And when I say 70-30 rule, that's a conservative type portfolio where you have 70% fixed income and 30% equities. So, that's something that we employ as well to maintain that kind of balance. So you may find that if the fixed income, let's say, is below the range, we would do some things to ensure that it stays within that general portfolio range and that balance of 70-30. What else do we do? Of course, with the equities, we have of those companies that are within WESCU's portfolio, and as such, we have to look at any corporate actions that may have taken place. We have to look at the financial statements to look at the performance. Of course, we are well aware of when dividends are declared and paid, and also we also have to monitor the price fluctuations. Equities are what we call volatile instruments, and as a result, the share prices can go up, they can go down, they can remain flat. And as a result, there may be unrealized gains and losses along the way. And I use the term unrealized because gains and losses are really realized at the point of a sale. So that in monitoring, FirstLine would perhaps say to WESCU, well, listen, and again, internally to FirstLine, we use something called a stop loss policy. So we may say to WESCU, if needs be, listen, this equity, it seems to be, running a lot of losses. We could say that. I'm not saying that we do, or we have had the need to within recent times, but these are some of the strategies and tactics that we will be utilizing from time to time. And again, that is to ensure that we optimally manage the funds of WESCU so that they get the best returns within the market constraints and within the economic constraint. Mark, that's what I wanted to focus on this evening, without getting too granular, unless if there are any questions of the audience that they would want to pose to me.
I am seeing that we have Ms. Marissa Mitchell, who has her hands up. So, in other words, Maxine, what you're saying, of course, we are very risk averse in WESCU, and of course, as a credit union, any financial cooperative, we have to always keep in our mind that is the members' monies that we are investing. So, therefore, we can't go to how do you say it? Carte blanche and just invest in anything, but we always have to do our due diligence to ensure that what we invest in will give us a good risk for the organization and for the membership. And so therefore our investment portfolio is well balanced. That is what I'm hearing, is well balanced. Yes. Keeping in mind that whatever investment that an individual gets into, whether it is WESCU investing the members' monies or an individual investing their own monies, because there would always be an element of risk.
Yeah.
Indeed. Always. We always need to say it better, man. Hey, I agree today.
You are.
So there must always be, keep that in mind, there's always an element of risk. And therefore, though we have Maxine, who is our head of web manager, and her team constantly monitoring and looking at the market to ensure to see how things are playing out, that we as well at WESCU always monitor side by side with Maxine as well, because sometimes Maxine and I have some beautiful, fruitful conversation in terms of the portfolio and how things are going and all of that, because we always have to keep on top of things to ensure that the portfolio is good, is healthy, especially for the membership. So I'm now going to ask Trevlon I'm not seeing Ms. Marissa. Oh gosh, I hope she didn't. Oh, Miss Marissa Mitchell, and I was I hope she didn't get vexed and she
Angry
left because she didn't go boy. So if you can elevate her, Trevlon, for those of you who don't know, Trevlon is my right hand guy. He is the producer of all our production, of course, and working side by side with him is also Brian. So I'm just going to ask him to elevate her so that she can give her the she's okay, good. So Ms. Mitchell, you can go ahead and ask your question to Maxine. You also have to unmute your mic, Ms. Mitchell. You're now elevated so you can ask your question. I'm hearing someone talking, but it's very faint. Ms. Mitchell, we are hearing you, but at a distance. If you can just increase your volume or come closer to whatever device you're using, that will help us out a lot.
Are you hearing me any better?
Oh, much better. Continue.
Okay. All right. Pleasant night. I am humbly sorry. I am currently driving, and my finger selected the button at the side of my device in error.
Sure, no problem.
But I'm listening in, and thus far it's very informative. So thank you very much for the opportunity as well.
You're most welcome, and thank you for your time, taking your time to come and spend with us this evening. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
You're welcome.
So, Maxine, in terms of, because one of the things that I have learned over the years, and sometimes is recently, you would always hear you're monitoring the stock market, you're looking at things, and with the pest analysis, in terms of the politics, you're looking at how the government is behaving, and then, bam, you would hear a leader in the world say some kind of nonsense, and then the stock market starts to plummet because of whatever he or she would have said.
Yeah.
So it does bears to show that your investment also goes in line with how or the behavior of politicians or your government, how they behave, what they see, because investors pay particular attention. Take, for instance, the war in Ukraine. That is having adverse effects globally. And because of that, the stock market may be a bit volatile kind of thing. How do we manage our emotions in that kind of environment, Maxie?
Well, Mark, if I were to put on the hat of an investor, right?
Yes.
Given your analogy, I would say, there's a term in the market that is used, in the investment market that is used, where they say they buy the rumor and sell the fact. Yes. So based on what the perception, the individual's perception is of the situation at hand, they may very well buy a share or sell, right? So they say they buy the rumor and sell the fact. At FirstLine, we cannot make decisions on the basis of rumor, on the basis of hearsay, right? What we do when we make an investment decision is on the basis of information, right?
Yes.
Information and different types of information. So I alluded previously to review of the financial statement, looking at corporate actions that would have taken place with the company, looking at the sector, the industry that that particular company, and I'm talking more here about equities, because I believe that's where you were going with that analogy just now, right?
Yes.
We would do fundamental analysis where we're looking at, forecasting again based on their numbers, what may happen, and given our own swing on things based on our data analytics, etc. Or we may do some technical analysis and look at trends, historical trends. But they always say that what happened in the past is not necessarily an indicator of what you expect to get in the future. But all of those things are considered before we determine what, and again, I'm speaking specifically as it relates to equities, before we determine whether we make a recommendation to buy more or to sell, right? So it's not willy-nilly like the ordinary consumer buying investment products and buying on the basis of sentiment. There's also something that they say FOMO, fear of missing out. So if there's buzz around, and I see it, sometimes people would call me and ask me, why doesn't FirstLine put so-and-so share in my equities in my portfolio? I get it all the time. And then I have to say some of the same things that I'm saying to you now. Well, we can't just go on the basis of hearsay or because FOMO, fear of missing out. So the talking tongue is that you should buy X equity or Y equity, right? I don't know if perhaps it's based on people getting an inkling of a clue of something happening inside the company and all of that. But at the end of the day, I have to say to the clients, we cannot act on the basis of, we have to act on the basis of facts. We have to act on the basis of our own internal valuations and the information that we have at hand to make an informed decision. And that's where the whole prudent person approach also comes into the picture.
So we must always do our due diligence before we react.
Indeed.
Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. So I just want to pour Maxine, and I thank you so very much for that information. And it warms all of our hearts to know that WESCU has a board that is very diligent, that is very prudent to ensure that the members' monies are well invested in a balanced, all-round portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
Yes? So we are just going to go to a quick commercial break, and then we are going to come back. Thank you, Maxine.
A friend introduced me to the credit union. A friend told me to go and join. I was a young girl, having 2 children, really in turmoil, in real turmoil. And I had a business. And it had times where the business was down. And I went to the credit union and I talked to them and they tell me, bring all your bills and we'll help you. They have a lot of things they help me with. But when my son get in trouble, they were there for me, they helped me. Sometimes I leave home, I know my next meal coming from and I walk straight into the credit union and they were there. They were there for me. The credit union has been good to me. Have me standing on my feet. I can't go hungry with the credit union, with that Western United Credit Union. I will invite anybody to join the credit union because they know what they're doing there.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, fellow cooperators, and welcome back to an evening with your board of directors where you talk, we listen, and we act where necessary. Before we go back to the conversation, I would like to introduce all of you to WESCU's board of astute directors. Well, of course, you have yours truly, Mark E. Ferret, the president of Western United Credit Union. We have our Vice President Mr. Dionisio Salazar, and our in-house economist. We have our Madam Secretary, Ms. Dixiane J. D'Souza. We have our Assistant Secretary, Ms. Helen E. King. We have our Madam Treasurer, Ms. Sharon C. Hines. We have our Mr. Kwesi Thomas, Director. Mr. Michael J. Valet, Director. We have Mr. Michael J.T. CPU, Director. Ms. Anne-Marie Francis Charles, Director. Ms. Ayana Leacock Sargent, Director. Mr. Sherman W. Severo, Director. Ms. Marcia Ann Stewart, Director. And our first substitute, Ms. Joyce C. Lynch. And our second substitute to the Board of Directors, Mr. Kester Fraser. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Western United Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited, WESCU for short, Stute Board of Directors. For those of you who may not be members as yet, and we invited you to have a little taste of what you would be enjoying as a member of Western United Credit Union. So we invited you to an evening with your board of directors where you talk, we listen, and we act when necessary. I am now going to give you the requirements of becoming part of Western United Credit Union. So if you are not a member as yet, the requirement for becoming a part of Western United Credit Union is very, very simple. For adults, we have 2 valid forms of picture ID, and that will be your passport, your national ID card, or your driver's permit. Now, driver's license, I understand they're calling it. You have your recent job letter, not more than 3 months old, and that job letter must be addressed to Western United Credit Union. You have your most recent payslip, and if you are a monthly paid person, of course, that's 1 payslip. If you are fortnightly paid, it is 2 consecutive payslips, and if you are weekly paid, it is 4 consecutive payslips. Then you have a recent utility bill, not more than 3 months old, and that can either be your TNTEC, your TSTT, your WASA, or your cable bill. If the utility bill that you have to use to become a member of the organization is not in your name, you must have an authorized letter from the person who the utility bill's name is in, and a copy of that person's ID card. Very, very minimal to join. It is just an enrollment of $120. So moving on to if you want to join your child or your children, because our approach at WESCU is if we are joining mommy and daddy, we want the entire family.
Yes, that's really right.
So it's all about continuity. It's about building generational wealth.
Yes.
So for minors, we have for minors the electronic birth certificate, copy of passport or national ID where applicable, or as a parent, you are joining your minor. Of course, all the requirements that I would have spoken about under the adult, all those requirements would be applicable. A letter from the technical or vocational or tertiary institution. And of course, I would just mention for the parent or guardian, the 2 forms of valid picture ID, which is your passport, your national ID, your driver's permit or license, a copy of your job letter, most recent payslip, and of course the enrollment for your child or children is just $120. For self-employed persons, all of the listed requirements under the adult section will apply, and then you have your registration documents for registered business, a statement of financial position for your business, which is, of course, for operations for 1 year, a cash flow projection for 12-month period, an open balance sheet for new businesses, and proof of experience by certification where applicable is also a requirement. What we at WESCU also do, if you are a self-employed person and you have not been keeping your books, our accountant, and this is free to the potential member, our accountant will sit with you, look at your business, and will assist you in putting your books together for a period of time.
Very
After
nice.
that, we will just leave you on your own, but we will still be monitoring you as we go along to ensure that you maintain proper bookkeeping reports. And
That's
that is
excellent.
absolutely no cost to the membership.
That is
as well.
excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So, of course, if we have any questions about it all, you all can always feel free. But that is the enrollment requirements for members or potential persons who desire to become part of this very dynamic organization. And you all would have been seeing all of our testimonies, and these testimonies that you will be seeing on social media, it is not scripted at all. We ask members if they will give their testimonies of what the organization has done for them and their families over the years. Traveling goes, it sits. I ask questions and they just speak from their heart.
Yeah.
After listening to some of these testimonies, it really blows your mind. Because some of the testimonies that are given by the members, we who are behind the scene, operating, managing the credit union, we don't even know that of the impact that we are having on our members and the wider community as well.
Yeah.
So, being a part of Western United Credit Union, I think, not that I think, but I know, it is a must in your bucket list.
Definitely.
Must become part because, as we always say at WESCU, we are about a holistic approach. And what do we mean by that? We are not only concerned about ensuring that you have a sound financial future, but we are concerned about you mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So there will always be that holistic approach, ensuring that you are improved, your standard of life is always improved, and also ensuring that your personal life, your life is also improved. So we are all rounded credit union.
Yeah.
We are also very, very, very concerned about people's mental health and mental well-being. So even on our website, we have just created a page, or even on our wescutt.com, yes, Revlon, that once you go on to Instagram, you will see it right there. You click on that, and you will be able to see our new page in terms of WESCU and mental health well-being. I got it right, Revlon? Good. So you go there, and you will see that we have partnered with Dr. Diane Doctors and Associates, and they will be putting there every quarter write-ups on mental health and how you can become more better balanced human being on our website. So we are always a holistic approach, and because while we want members to ensure that they have their financial dignity, and that comes with being self-aware, being conscious, your independent will, to really sit down and be honest with yourself, to restructure and reposition your thinking and your spending.
Yeah.
We are also very concerned of persons enjoying a well-balanced life. And as we know, there are a lot of persons out there who are hurting,
Yeah.
and we are here for that. One of the things that we want to form before the end of the year or early in the year, because our last webinar would have been on domestic violence against men, and we did say that we want to form a group where men can come in and be very open about whatever challenges they are going through and get the necessary tips and healing that they so desire.
That's excellent.
So we are not only about finances.
Yes.
So the time goes by so quickly. I will now leave the floor open for a brief moment for any questions that persons would like to ask either Rhea or Tony or even Maxine at this point in time. While we are waiting for questions, I don't know how quickly Trevor can pull it up, but Trev, could you kindly pull up the video with Madam Treasurer Ms. Sharon Hines speaking about the FIP and her experience, please? We have that. While we're waiting, you can see how you could look for it.
Oh, gosh.
They always say, oh gosh, this president of ours always putting us on the spot.
Oh, gosh.
But I would really like the audience to hear her testimony on how the FIP plan worked for her.
Yes.
And that is very, very important.
Yeah.
So while we wait on questions.
But I guess while we wait, I could just mention or remind the membership. I would have mentioned this at the last session that we had of our COVID-19 Relief Fund.
Yes, please.
Which will end in December. So, if you know of anyone, of course, as part of the credit union at Western United, that either themselves or their spouse have been affected by COVID-19, where they would have either lost their job or had a reduction in their premiums, and they're a holder of the family indemnity plan, with or without the CI rider, you can actually get your payments paid up to 6 months. And it's not that you have to repay us or anything. It's just to help you get on your feet.
Yes.
And so we pay 6 months. So, you 6 months of your premium. So you know that you're covered if anything happens. That plan isn't lapsed or anything. Because we know how hard COVID-19 was on all of us.
On all of us.
And there are still some persons that are still being impacted. That will run until the end of December. So if you know of anyone, please take advantage of the plan.
And thank you so very much for reminding us of that.
Yes.
So now we will go to a quick commercial break with Madam Treasurer Sharon Hines speaking about FIP.
Well, I've been a member of Western United Credit Union many years. I had the opportunity to purchase an SUV, a Mitsubishi Outlander. It was a good buy in a matter of 2 days. No lie, my check was ready, so I really, really appreciate that. Through that, I was able to organize my car. And then the other thing, December 11, 2016, my father passed away on a Sunday morning. So, did all the whatever run around you could do, but I can't begin to tell you the ease of my mind that I was able to go to the funeral that same Sunday and make the arrangements, get your idea of your costings or whatever, because I did not have to worry about how am I getting money to pay for this. My credit union did not let me down. They delivered as promised.
No stress. And as Madam Treasurer said, the credit union and of course Cuna by extension did not let her down.
Oh, yep.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So we always encourage all of our members, so all of our potential members who are very anxious to join, and we can't wait to have you on board. and you don't have FIP, if you're in another credit union, you have FIP, fine. But if you don't have FIP, this is a must. Just as your savings within the organization
Yeah.
and your shares is a must, your deposit account, your Christmas investment account, your education builder account, your rainy day and emergency account, all these savings accounts are important.
Yeah.
Your FIP plan is extremely important. It is a must-have as part of your savings portfolio.
Yeah.
So it is now 7:43, and it is so amazing how time flies when you are having fun. So before we would have covered, and Rhea would have covered the history of Cuna.
Yeah.
We would have dealt with the life savings, which is the LS. We would have dealt with the loan protection, which is the LP. We would have dealt with the payment protector, the PP. We would have dealt with the advance protector, the AP.
Yes.
We would have dealt with the family indemnity plan, the FIP. We would have dealt with the family critical illness plan, the FCIP. And before we wrap up, I just want to jump back in and have Tony deal with the critical illness rider. And what is that about and how does it work?
Okay, so once you have the family indemnity plan, the primary insured of the family indemnity plan can get the critical illness rider. The critical illness rider sits on top of the family indemnity plan, but it only benefits the primary insured.
Not the other.
Not the other
primary.
person,
Okay.
not the secondary insured. It only covers the primary insured. That is why we also introduce a family critical illness plan,
Yes.
so that others can be benefited as well.
So is it on all the FIP plans or
Yes.
just one?
So once you have any one of the FIP plans, you are eligible for the family critical illness rider. So it actually covers you for 5 critical illness, which is, let me just pull it, make sure. So we have heart attack, cancer, stroke, heart attack, paralysis, and major burns. So it covers those 5 critical illness plans.
Yes.
And it goes above. You have to enroll in the critical illness rider before the age of 60.
60.
Yes. And it's a living benefit as well. So it goes up until 75, the critical illness rider. It's just like the family critical illness plan, but it's only for the primary insured on the family indemnity plan. It's also age banded as well. So the younger you are and the younger you enroll in the family critical illness rider, the critical illness rider, the cheaper it will be for you.
Okay.
So let's say you take out the family indemnity plan, you have the family indemnity plan coverage. Now you could also have critical illness coverage for either 50,000 or 100,000, and the price goes according to your age. So let's say you're between the ages of 18 to 34. Your premium for $50,000 coverage will just be $35.
In addition to your
to
monthly premium to
Yes.
the FIP.
Correct.
Okay.
So
And that's very reasonable.
Very
exactly.
reasonable.
So
Very
let's say you
reasonable.
take out that plan, $52.60. Sorry that I have to laugh because it's such an incredible premium
Yes.
for a coverage like that they offer.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be $52.80. Sorry, plus $35.
Can't go
That's
wrong.
less than
And
$100.
trust me, most
Correct.
of us, you can't go
Yeah, you
because
can't go wrong.
most of us as human beings, and if we're truthful to ourselves,
Correct.
squander $100 and then we ask, where it went?
Wait.
Yes?
Yeah, easily on a meal.
Easily.
Easily.
Yes.
Easily on a meal.
And so therefore, if it is we invest this $100 wisely with
Exactly.
the FIP plan, and then you have the critical illness rider, and
Correct.
you take that out, that's a good
go
investment
wrong.
in
Exactly.
yourself.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And that's it.
And that's it.
And
That's it.
And so you can see, because I was always of the opinion that the
Right.
critical illness rider
Right.
was on just one of the
No.
FIP plans.
Any
So I
option.
can take it out for A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I'm going to so they
Correct.
remember. Yes?
Yes.
Correct.
So from A to G, any one of those plans, I can take it out.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
And
correct.
my coverage, in addition to my 5280, it will be plus the premium for the critical illness rider.
Correct.
That's correct.
And the coverage goes between
50,000
50,000 to
100,000.
100,000.
Correct.
That's correct.
Can't get better than that.
Cannot.
Until you all improve.
Exactly. You never
So we
know.
get to 5
Exactly.
now.
You never
You
know.
really
Yeah.
can't get better than that.
Yeah.
So it is now 7:47. Well, throughout all the discussions, we were waiting to see if we had any questions, so which means we were real good.
Yeah, that means we were crystal clear.
Yes, yeah. So I will just invite Maxine just to give us her closing remarks and to also thank you so very much again for always making herself available, whatever part of the world she is in. Just call on Maxine and she is there.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes we take it for granted, and I really don't like taking people for granted. I respect people's time, the anointing that God has given to them. So, Maxine, I will just give you a little 2 minutes to bring your closing remarks.
Are you hearing me, Mark?
Yes, I'm hearing you clearly, Maxine.
Okay. All right. Well, I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you. And in all that we do, we must say thank. It is a pleasure to serve the WESCU, Western United Credit Union, for all of these years. It is good to have such a good working relationship between your organization and ours. And it is even better to know that we are in fact providing a service that will redound to the benefit of your members. A successful life must include service to others. I firmly believe that we must do that at all times. And therefore, you will find that wherever I am, once I am called to be of service, I will ensure that I can deliver. So thanks once again to WESCU for allowing us the opportunity to manage the surplus funds, to contribute to the welfare and the well-being of your members. Thank you as well for allowing me to be apprised of what Cuna has to offer. I always learn something every time that I join. So thanks for that added benefit as well for being present. Thank you so much for the trust and confidence that WESCU has placed in FirstLine Securities. We just want to be able to serve you better and better, and to improve upon the relationship that we have, and also improve upon the performance of the portfolio. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, Maxine, for your time and your dedication, and of course your anointing. And just in case persons may wondering, when you're talking about anointing, I'm talking about your talent, your competencies, and your gifts that God has given to you, so that while you are here sitting at your worship station, you can serve Him well and serve humanity and be a blessing unto others.
That's correct.
I will now give 1 minute each for closing remarks to Rhea and to Tony as well.
Yes. So again, I want to say firstly, thank you for having us here once again. It's always a pleasure. I always have tons and tons of fun with you at WESCU. So I want to say thank you for allowing us to share these wonderful products with the credit union members.
Yes.
Honestly, it is really great, excellent products. And of course, at WESCU, you always try to provide a suite of products at any stage of your members' lives. And so on behalf of Cuna, I'd like to say thank you once again for having us here.
You're most welcome. Tony?
Well, all I have to say is thank you so much for honoring us by inviting us to share our products with your membership. I mean, at WESCU, there's always a different feeling. We always feel at home and welcome here, especially with Mr. Barrett.
Always.
So I just want to thank you so much on behalf of Cuna Caribbean for inviting us and for creating that excellent relationship.
You're most welcome. And of course, I always feel so warm and loved by both of you.
Oh, God.
And sometimes I say, my God, so when I jump up in my mind and I say, gosh, I called Tony Sunday morning when I was speaking with Trevor
Oh,
because we were planning.
gosh.
So I just called him, just to a little hint that, I will reach out to you.
Yeah.
And then during our usual meeting, I saw Tony's calling me back.
Oh, gosh.
I just want to say thanks to both of you guys, Rhea,
Yes.
Tony, for always accommodating me, sometimes
Yeah.
even outside working hours, because, sometimes my brain is always
Yes.
Yes.
and before it pop, when the
Oh,
answer.
gosh. Oh, yes.
It's our pleasure.
Thanks, and it's always a wonderful relationship working with both of you,
Yeah.
always getting accurate information. And this webinar, that's why I decided to merge it in with an evening with the board of directors, so that the membership and even our directors will get more food of all the various products that we offer at Western United Credit Union because of our partnership with Cuna.
Yes.
And I think that we have delivered beyond expectations.
Yes, because we didn't get any questions. So that means we
Exactly.
did excellent.
So that is saying that.
Yes.
So this is only part one of this. Of course, I will invite you all again
Yes.
early in the year, because an evening with your board of directors people where you talk, we listen, we act where necessary, we present to you WESCU and all the benefits that you can get at WESCU. And it is not only about your financial benefit, but it is always an holistic approach.
Yeah.
Always keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So during the first quarter, because it's every quarter we have an evening with the board of directors, we will invite both of you again, so that you can come and just touch on the products again, because we will have new persons coming on. So thanks to both of you.
Our pleasure.
Yes. And please give my love to the team at Cuna.
Yes, we will.
I would now ask or call upon Mr. Sherman Subero, who will now give the closing remarks for this evening, an evening with your board of directors. Mr. Subero.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
On behalf of the board of WESCU and the members who are at this meeting, I would like to say thanks a lot to Rhea and Tony from Cuna for coming in to share with us the information that you all shared today. I'm sure you all shared that left us a lot of clarity as to what some of the plans you all offer and what is available for the members of the credit union through Cuna. I want to thank as well Miss Maxine King for taking the time to share some information with us as regards to our investment portfolio. And I was going to say thanks to all of the members who took the time to join this webinar, because without you all, this would not have been possible. So thank you all for making this a success again. And have a good evening. Thanks for attending.
Thank you so very much, Sherman. And as we wrap up, I just want to say thanks to all of you, all the board of directors, who continuously give of themselves and their talent on a daily basis, very, very selflessly. I want to thank the members for attending, and I want to give special thank you to Mr. Trevor Hall, our producer, and Mr. Brian Johnson, our producer as well. So both of them are always behind the scenes, ensuring that everything goes smoothly. So thanks to all of you, and we look forward to seeing you again in the new year, the first quarter of the new year, for an evening with your board of directors where you talk, we listen, and we act where necessary. For those persons who would have joined us because you are a potential member, we look forward to hearing from you. And we would have our regular fortnightly WESCU Onboarding Forum, so you can always feel free to join us there. So thank you and good night.